The project for today is this juniper. This is the Procumbens nana, and I'll show you how we get started in making a bonsai from a nursery stock. A few weeks ago, a young man came in for one of my workshops. My workshop just means that he could come in for a couple hours and we could do any subject that he wanted. Well, what happened was he had purchased a juniper from one of the local nurseries, and he wanted to know how to make it into a bonsai. Well, I usually don't recommend this method for beginners because it's such a long process from a raw nursery stock into even a halfway decent bonsai. But after having done that, I was thinking, wait a minute, it's been a while since I've taught you people how to go from a nursery stock into a bonsai. Not a bonsai, but a bonsai in training, okay? And so I thought I'd do that today. Of course, this is not from the nursery or outside nursery. I've been growing these, and I do grow them specifically to become a bonsai. And the difference is actually could be huge. I won't be covering that today because I just want to show you what you might do if you purchase a raw material. That's what I call this, raw material, and how to make it into a bonsai for the future. Okay, so let's get started. These are actual ground covers for landscape use, and normally when you find it at the nursery, it's all kind of solid and in a ball. But I like to grow these with a nice strong leader so that this will start to have a shape of a formal or informal upright bonsai. And that's what we're going to do today, is to go ahead and convert something that is crawling along the ground into upright. Things that you should do before getting started on something like this is let this dry out a little bit. Don't make it so dry that it actually kills the plant, but less moisture, more flexible at the top. So when you're watering, the same principle. So keep it so that it's slightly on the dry side so that it stays pliable, okay? And then what I'm gonna do first is to kind of open it up so that I could see the base, right? Now, like I said, this is not a true nursery stock, conventional nursery stock, because I've been growing it specifically for bonsai, right? Okay, so now I could see the base. And, you know, we always talk about the root flare. Well, this one has a great root flare. We're going to use the stick method. So take your stick and then get it close to the trunk at the base and push down, right? So hopefully you can see what I did. And the first thing we do is to tie this. It's a good idea to use these horticultural ties because there's a stretch so that it will not damage if it stays too long. Anyway, so that's what we do, is we tie at the base. Okay, so I have this tied nice and secure, and I'm gonna go up. And it's gonna go up like this and go around. That's how we start to get the shape. Now, this is the most important part. When you fiddle it around and hear a snap, then you're going to have a very short bonsai that you have to start all over. And the other thing is, you see all this foliage, they need to come off. But if you start shaping it right here, and then as you come up, it changes position. So I try not to prune till I know for sure it's going to get tied at this certain spot. So I'm going to tie it right here. Sometimes it's really hard to do this yourself because you need an extra couple of hands, but that's what we do. We just... So now, whoops. See? Oh, when I first started, I did a lot of these, right? And they do make a tool that you could do it one-handed. It kind of snuggles up, staples the two together, and cuts. Unfortunately, about 10, 15 years of use, it finally broke. So I don't have it anymore, and I don't do enough to justify buying another one. Okay, so now I got this loop going around, and another one up here, right? So let me go ahead, cut off a few, just so that I could tie it without tying the foliage. So those of you that only have one or two, you could go ahead, use your little bit heavier wire to get this main trunk. But I did these by the dozens, so I developed this staking method, and then we go up here, right? Well, this will be an ongoing process, right? You do like this now. And if you want a tall one, you just leave this stake in place and let this grow and then keep going. Okay, that's, the other thing there. Okay, so that's tied, and I'm not sure where I'm going to be. See, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, so I'm just going to leave this in place. Now you start to thin it out, because now we know where the main line is. And remember, a very simplified rule, remove things that's on the inside curve and then leave what's on the outside. So I'll start to, and we don't do everything. This is just the first step in producing a workable material for future bonsai. Most people try to make it in one shot. It doesn't work. Well, you could call it that, but it just does not produce a good bonsai. Good bonsai takes years of dedicated effort, and you got to develop it. So, I don't know, you could start to see that there's shape being developed in here. So this one here, it kind of swings wide and then comes back. I might try to make this curve even more dramatic. You just kind of push down and squish, right? So now, and at this point, we don't want to take everything off. The reason for it, if you keep enough foliage, it stays vigorous. And you want vigor and growth. And we want this, if you want this to be here, then you go ahead and top it. Okay, so if you know for sure you want it this height, what you could do is go ahead and top it. But if you know you want to go taller, then don't touch the tip. Let it elongate and then go around. Okay. Okay, so I think there's a few more that I can cut, but in general, keep these foliage on it so that it will continue to grow vigorously. And that's what you want. You want it to grow vigorously so that it'll fatten this part up. It get more shape in here. Now there's plenty of foliage in here, and that's okay. We'll do that. But you notice the ones that were going up, I took those off so that we'll have all the horizontal ones. That's how you develop these materials. So anyway, that's what I am doing now. Okay. So, I know some people, they say, well, this is a bonsai. Well, then stick this in a pot. No, you actually want to keep it in here, possibly go into a bigger container, and in 3 to 7, 10 years, you'll have a great bonsai. But from a nursery, general nursery stock into even a mediocre bonsai, it's a minimum of 3 years. And that's why most of the time I recommend that you start with a nicely pre-trained material. Like I said, I'm not covering everything because a lot of times we have to discuss the soil, and then we'll be sitting here for a long time with a very boring subject. So I'll cover all those, but they be covered in other chapters, and you're going to have to piece it together. One of the things I realize when I'm making these videos, don't make it too long because people get bored and they won't follow you. Anyway, that's what I have here is the first step from a general nursery stock into a future bonsai. Okay, hopefully you got something out of this little short chapter on how to get started from a general nursery stock into a future bonsai. So that's what this was. I know those of you that can come to me or one of your local bonsai nurseries, you know, you have a easier chance. But for a lot of you, you have no choice. So if you go to your nursery where you could find a suitable working material, just think, try to get that line in place. Well, the other part is visualizing the future. So I'm visualizing this being about this tall with nice branches in between. So that's like a 5 or 7 year project. And so those of you that start with raw materials, you just got to give it time. So develop the materials, and then you could put it into a bonsai pot and refine it. So this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. Oh yeah, those of you that keep wanting to know where I am, I'm in Northern California. And if you look under Matsuda Bonsai Nursery, you'll find me. Or look for Bonsai Nursery in Northern California, and there's only 3-4 of us, so we all pop out at the same time. So anyway, I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. Oh yeah, my new friend from UK. Thank you for watching. See you again real soon.